emotional about the hounding of the press and the paparazzi and how they were making her life miserable. So I think I did my job.
The cameras loved him. The public adored him. Every morning, millions of Americans tuned in to see Matt Lauer, the trusted, polished, charismatic anchor who seemed to embody everything good about morning television. He smiled, joked, and guided viewers through the news of the day. And for 20 years, he was untouchable. But behind that carefully crafted persona, behind the live broadcasts and bright studio lights, a darker story was unfolding. In November 2017, one single complaint shattered a life that millions admired. Within 24 hours, Matt Lauer was fired, banned from NBC, and thrust into a scandal that exposed decades of misconduct, abuse, and silence. Today, we explore the full story. The rise, the secrets, the shocking fall, and the quiet life he now leads far from the public eye. Matt Lauer was born on December 30th, 1957, in New York City. A city pulsing with ambition, dreams, and endless possibilities. His upbringing was a study in contrasts. His father, J. Robert Lauer, a Romanian Jewish executive at a bicycle company, instilled discipline, responsibility, and a relentless work ethic. His mother, Marilyn Culmer, a former model and boutique owner, offered elegance, refinement, and an acute awareness of appearances. Matt grew up straddling two worlds, one of hard work and immigrant resilience, the other of beauty, image, and public presentation. It was a tension that would shape him in unexpected ways. From an early age, he learned to navigate perception, to understand how others saw him, and more importantly, how to make them believe. His grandfather, Art Gentry, was a professional singer during the golden age of music. Matt often watched him perform, absorbing lessons far beyond melody or pitch. Gentry taught him stage presence, poise, and the power of connection, skills that would later define his television career. These early experiences gave Matt a rare gift: the ability to captivate an audience long before he ever stepped in front of a camera. In the late 1970s, Matt enrolled at Ohio University, majoring in communications. He was on track to graduate, yet ambition gnawed at him. In 1979, just 4 credits shy of a diploma, Matt made a bold decision. He dropped out. He didn't wait for a piece of paper. He wanted real experience. His first job was as a news producer at Rock in Huntington, West Virginia. It was modest work, but he approached it with relentless determination. Within a year, he was reporting on camera and even hosting a talk show segment. By the age of 22, Matt had proven he could handle live news under pressure, a rare feat for someone without a degree. From 1980 to 1986, Matt co-hosted PM Magazine in Richmond, Providence, and New York City. Each market demanded adaptability, charisma, and a keen understanding of audiences. By the time he reached New York, the country's largest media market, he was ready for national exposure. In 1986, Matt co-hosted ABC's Fame, Fortune, and Romance, a short-lived spin-off of lifestyles of the rich and famous. Though flashy and indulgent, the show put him in living rooms across America, introducing him to a nationwide audience. By the late 1980s, he was juggling multiple roles, hosting local shows in Philadelphia and Boston while reporting for ESPN and HBO. He covered sports events like the Stanley Cup Finals, entertainment segments, and lifestyle stories, all at once. The hours were grueling, the travel relentless, but the exposure was invaluable. Matt's reputation as versatile, reliable, and tireless began to take shape. From 1989 to 1991, he anchored 3-hour daily broadcasts at WWTV in New York. Shock culture began creeping into the programming. Audience-stirring stunts, controversial guests, but Matt resisted the sensationalism. Frustrated, he left, paving the way for shows that would later descend into chaos. By 1992, nearly broke and without a stable job, Matt found a lifeline at WNBC, co-anchoring Today in New York. Early mornings, long hours, and relentless work characterized his days. But by 1994, his skill, warmth, and versatility earned him a national role on NBC's Today Show. Matt had a rare talent, blending hard news with a charming approach. Within 3 years, he helped revive the show, winning back viewers from competitors. He wasn't just an anchor. He was a trusted companion in millions of homes. In 1998, Matt married Dutch model Annette Rowe, known professionally as Jade, after a whirlwind romance. They had 3 children, Jack, Romy, and Ty, and outwardly, their family seemed picture perfect. Yet behind the camera, cracks began to form. In 2006, while Annette was pregnant with their youngest, she filed for divorce, citing emotional abuse and controlling behavior. Weeks later, she withdrew the petition, hoping to salvage the family. For over a decade, they maintained the public image of a united family. But insiders describe a relationship lived largely in parallel lives. The scandal that ultimately destroyed Matt Lauer's career began quietly during the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics. Brooke Neville, a young NBC employee, would later reveal in Ronan Farrow's 2019 book, Catch and Kill, that she had been sexually assaulted by Lauer in his hotel room. When NBC received the complaint in November 2017, they acted swiftly. Within 24 hours, Matt was fired, his $20 million a year contract terminated, and co-hosts Savannah Guthrie and Had Kotba forced to announce the shocking news live on air, visibly stunned. The deluge of allegations didn't stop there. Multiple women came forward, recounting harassment, exposure, and coercion that spanned decades. Reports revealed disturbing details: a secret button under his desk to lock office doors, sex toys gifted to female staff, and repeated sexual harassment. One producer recounted being assaulted in 2001, left unconscious after an encounter in his office. The picture that emerged was one of systemic abuse enabled by a culture of silence. Matt's fall was swift and complete. The man who once dominated morning news disappeared almost entirely. Friends and colleagues receded. Public appearances ceased. He retreated to his Hamptons estate, Strong Art Manor, a 14,000-square-foot waterfront property worth millions, living in near-total isolation. His marriage ended quietly in 2019, finalized with Annette Rowe retaining substantial assets. Co-parenting continued peacefully, but the public once again saw a perfect facade. Behind the scenes, the emotional toll was immense. Ronan Farrow's book intensified the public scrutiny. Matt issued a detailed statement denying criminal allegations, admitting inappropriate behavior, and criticizing sensationalist media coverage. But the damage had been done. His career, reputation, and personal life were irreparably altered. Today, Matt Lauer lives far from the cameras. He splits time between the Hamptons and New Zealand, enjoying privacy and luxury without the glare of public attention. Financially secure, he no longer needs the spotlight. He has found companionship with Shaman Abbas, a longtime friend and luxury brand executive. Their relationship remains private, grounded in support and mutual respect. Slowly, Matt has begun reconnecting with friends and focusing on family, cultivating a quieter, more measured existence. Matt Lauer's story is one of extremes. The rise to fame, the charisma, the public trust, all contrasted by private darkness, scandal, and a sudden fall from grace. It is a reminder of the fragility of reputation, the consequences of unchecked power, and the human capacity for both charm and cruelty. Once the morning companion for millions, today he is a man living quietly, navigating the shadows of a life lived in the relentless glare of cameras. The lessons of ambition, trust, and consequence remain vivid, a story of power, privilege, and the high cost of secrecy. By the early 2000s, Matt Lauer had become more than just a television anchor. He was a cultural fixture, Millions of viewers woke up to his voice, relied on his insight, and trusted his judgment. He was polished, poised, and seemingly infallible, the kind of person the public assumes has it all figured out. Yet the glamour of fame often masks isolation. The relentless scrutiny of paparazzi, the pressure to maintain perfection on camera, and the ceaseless expectation to be both entertaining and trustworthy wore down even the most resilient personalities. Matt's early charm became a double-edged sword. His warmth on screen contrasted sharply with a growing tension behind the cameras. Friends and colleagues began noticing his short temper, bouts of irritability, and controlling tendencies in the office. In public, he maintained the mask. Interviews, charity events, and live broadcasts required constant performance. There was no pause button. And in the world of high-stakes morning television, one misstep could cost a career built over decades. Matt's marriage to Annette Rowe in 1998 initially appeared to be a fairy tale. An international model and a beloved anchor joining lives in the Hamptons. Their wedding was covered extensively by the media, romanticized by lifestyle magazines, and dissected by fans. But behind the glimmering photographs, cracks formed. Annette, only 22 at the time, quickly became a focal point for public fascination. Her beauty, poise, and elegance drew attention away from Matt at times, creating tension that compounded under the glare of fame. Despite the image of a perfect family, Matt and Annette struggled privately. Emotional distance, constant public scrutiny, and the demands of his career created stress that no family counseling could immediately resolve. In 2006, with their third child on the way, Annette filed for divorce, alleging mental abuse and controlling behavior. The shockwaves reached far beyond the family, hinting to the public that the perfect life on screen was anything but. Weeks later, she withdrew the petition, but friends later revealed the couple lived largely separate lives despite appearances. The marriage survived in public only. In private, tension remained high, quietly eroding the family foundation. The turning point came during the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. Matt, at the pinnacle of his career, became the subject of a horrifying allegation. Brooke Neville, a young NBC employee, claimed she had been sexually assaulted in his hotel room. For years, the story remained hidden, a secret shielded by Matt's influence and the network's reluctance to investigate. But in 2017, NBC received the complaint and the floodgates opened. Within 24 hours, Matt Lauer was fired. His co-hosts, Savannah Guthrie and Hod Kotba, were blindsided, forced to announce the shocking dismissal live on air. The revelations didn't stop there. Multiple women came forward with stories of harassment, coercion, and abuse spanning decades. Allegations included inappropriate gifts, exposure, and even the use of a hidden button under his desk to trap employees. These were not isolated incidents. They revealed a systematic pattern of misconduct, previously shielded by fear, reputation, and corporate inaction. Matt's rapid fall left the public stunned. From the most trusted morning anchor to a symbol of scandal, his life changed almost overnight. Friends distanced themselves, colleagues vanished, and the public scrutiny was unrelenting. For the first time, the smiling, composed man on television was nowhere to be found. He retreated to his Hamptons estate, Strong Art Manor, a sprawling 14,000-square-foot property with every imaginable luxury, yet empty in spirit. Despite the grandeur, isolation became his new reality. Daily routines were minimal, interactions were scarce, and the only constant was the quiet of the waterfront estate. The scandal accelerated the final unraveling of his marriage. In 2019, after 21 years, Matt and Annette finalized their divorce. She retained significant assets, including a horse farm, while custody of their 3 children was amicably arranged. Despite the emotional turmoil, they maintained a professional and cooperative relationship, shielding their children from the full glare of media attention. The divorce, while significant, was just another chapter in a life now defined by secrecy and retreat. Public fascination with the case was intense, yet Matt's response was measured. He avoided media appearances, issued statements only when necessary, and slowly began reshaping his life on his terms. The publication of Ronan Farrow's Catch and Kill in 2019 reignited attention. The book detailed allegations from Brooke Neville and others, casting a critical light on NBC's culture of silence and complicity. Matt responded with a detailed open letter, denying criminal conduct while acknowledging inappropriate behavior. He criticized the media's rush for sensationalism and defended his reputation. The public's reaction was mixed. Some saw it as too little, too late. Others noted his financial security and low-profile lifestyle as evidence of retreat rather than recklessness. The narrative was no longer just about one man. It became emblematic of the broader reckoning against abuse in media. Today, Matt Lauer has reinvented his existence. He divides his time between the Hamptons and New Zealand, pursuing privacy over publicity. His net worth remains substantial, around $80 million, allowing him to live comfortably despite career-ending scandals. He has found companionship with Shaman Abbas, a longtime friend and luxury brand executive. Their relationship, cultivated privately over years, is built on mutual respect and discretion. Public appearances are rare, focused on family and personal interests rather than media exposure. In recent years, Matt has reconnected with old friends and prioritized time with his children. He has created a rhythm of life far removed from the intensity of morning television, focusing on stability, family, and personal peace. The story of Matt Lauer is complex. It is the tale of a man who rose to the pinnacle of public trust, who charmed millions, and whose private actions brought it all crashing down. It reflects the duality of fame, the allure of public adoration, and the peril of hidden misconduct. In a world obsessed with image, the narrative serves as a cautionary tale. Power without accountability can devastate lives, both those who wield it and those affected by it. And while Matt remains financially secure, the human cost, the fractured family, the lost career, the isolation, is undeniable. Yet in his current life, there is also quiet resilience. Removed from cameras and headlines, Matt has crafted a life of discretion, finding solace in privacy, family, and personal pursuits. The public may never fully forgive or forget, but the man once at the height of morning television has found a new rhythm, one shaped not by applause or scrutiny, but by a desire to live quietly and carefully in a world that once adored him. Matt Lauer's story is a mirror of modern fame, a life lived under relentless observation, the highs of universal trust, the lows of public disgrace, and the ultimate search for quiet redemption. Once the man who greeted America each morning, he now walks in the shadows, a life of luxury, privacy, and reflection, replacing the cameras and crowds. It's a story of talent, ambition, mistakes, and consequences. A reminder that no matter how polished the exterior, every life has unseen layers, and every empire, no matter how grand, can crumble in a single moment.